Hi everyone, my name is Marissa Salazar and I'm an assistant director here at the Office of Admission at Colorado College. This is part 2 of our 4-part series. The different parts are going to be about 1, Colorado Springs and Colorado as a whole. Part 2 is going to be the block plan. Part 3 is going to be a little bit about admission information, how to get into Colorado College, selectivity, all that fun stuff. And then the last remaining part is going to be about financial aid, what that process looks like, merit-based scholarships, financial aid, all that fun stuff. So you can feel free to check out our website if you're missing any other information, or you can feel free to email us as well at admission@coloradocollege.edu. So we're gonna go ahead and just dive right in and talk about the block plan. Some of you are probably like, what is this crazy thing that she's talking about? What is this whole block system? I've never heard of that before. Not surprising at all. We are one of 3 colleges in the United States that actually have the block plan system, but we were the first, so arguably the best. And it was about 50 years ago. So next year we'll be celebrating our 50th year anniversary on the block plan, which is a really exciting time here at CC that you could be a part of. So we're just gonna dive into first the logistics of the block plan. So as you can see here, there are 8 blocks that are gonna happen a year, 4 blocks a semester. The way it happens is that students at CC take 1 class at a time. So 1 class or 1 block is equal to 3.5 weeks long. It's Monday through Friday, and it's from 9 a.m. to noon. So for 3 hours a day, for 5 days a week, for 3.5 weeks straight, you are only focused on 1 subject. So let's say you were taking Intro to Biology, for example. You are a biologist for 3.5 weeks. There's no worrying about English or math or foreign language, right? You are only focused on that 1 subject. It's a lot to take in, right? And exciting times. Now, being a part of the block plan leads to opportunities on the block as well. And in this presentation, we're gonna talk about field study, block abroad, study abroad, research opportunities, internship opportunities, which definitely are a product of the block plan. Now, as you can tell by this visual aid, in between each block, we have what's called a block break. Now, block break is a 4.5-day break you get from class where there is no pre-reading or assignments that you have to start on. It's literally just a time for you to relax, reset, and rewind before the start of your next block is going to begin. Now, what do students do during block break? I'm gonna cover that later on in the presentation, but just give you a few examples. Our Outdoor Education Center does a really great job of providing students subsidized opportunities to be able to get outdoors. So if you wanna go out to Utah and do some rock climbing, you wanna go down to Rocky Mountain National Park and hike around, there are definitely opportunities for you to do that as well. There are also on-campus opportunities. If you just want to watch Netflix and eat ice cream for 4.5 days, you can absolutely do that as well. Now, you will have some extensions and breaks. So in between blocks 3 and 4 is going to be fall break, which accommodates for Thanksgiving if you choose to celebrate. That's going to give you a week off. So you have that 4.5 days plus a week. After block 4 and before block 5 begins is going to be your winter break. So that accommodates for all the winter holidays, and that is a month off, which sounds really exciting, but most schools will give you a month off. And then after block 6 and before block 7 is going to begin your spring break. And that's going to be an additional week as well, right? So 4.5 days plus a week. Now, after block 8 commences, you are going to have your summer break, which is accommodating for usually about 3 months. And we do have 2 summer block opportunities as well. So summer block A and B, both on the block plan, 3.5 weeks, so on and so forth. The cool part about our summer courses is that they don't just happen here in the classroom, right, on CC's campus. You can also go abroad as well. So maybe if you're like, I don't know about taking an academic course, goes overseas, you could also just go abroad over the summer as well. So after block 8 concludes is going to begin your summer semester. Now, as you can see here, we do offer something that's called half block, which again is not mandatory, but it is completely optional. And there are 4 credit and non-credit classes that you can take. Some examples of non-credit courses would be maybe you want to sit for a standardized test to get into graduate school, right? So they offer LSAT, MCAT, GRE courses that you can take not for credit. They also offer arts, ceramics, drawing, painting, all that fun stuff. 4 credit classes would be more the academic realm, right? You're taking sociology, religion, anthropology, things of that nature, which are going to be 4 credit. And as the title would suggest, it is a half of a block, right? So instead of the 3.5 weeks, it is going to be a 2-week course. So you come back a little bit earlier from your winter break to be able to engage in that. So as I mentioned earlier, alluded to, students are really excited about taking the 1 class at a time. But for me, I think it's the opportunities that present itself on the block plan are why students choose CC in the end. And so I'm going to go over step by step sort of what those opportunities are and why they make CC such a great place. So the first one is going to be field study. 100% of our students engage in some sort of field study over their 4 years, which I know what you're thinking. I don't want to be digging around in the earth for worms or rocks. And that's not necessarily what I'm I'm talking about when I say field study, although there are more traditional senses of that. I mean going down to our Baca campus, which is located in Crestone, Colorado, and you're taking a creative writing course down there where you can engage in your creative writing and not have to worry about the hustle and bustle of downtown Colorado Springs, right? You're able to get into the mountains, really get those creative juices flowing and really hone in on what you want to study. As I mentioned, there are more traditional field study opportunities, such as going up to the Rocky Mountain National Park, where students are backpacking up there for 3 or 4 days at a time. They're collecting rock and soil samples and they're bringing that down back to the lab to be able to study the chemical compounds found in that soil or those rocks. So really being able to intimately engage with your coursework material instead of just sitting inside of the classroom and reading about it in your textbook. And that's definitely going to be a theme here throughout my presentation and throughout many of the other parts of the series in this presentation, is that you have the freedom to be able to go outside and engage with your classroom material, which is not something that most other institutions can offer you. So make sure you keep that in mind throughout this. Now, I know a lot of us, study abroad is definitely on the brain, and here at CC we offer 2 types of study abroad. So there's block abroad and then there's study abroad. Now, block abroad, there are a number of different classes that you can take overseas. My favorite course to talk about is the Odyssey in Greece, where students go on a sailboat for 3.5 weeks and they read the book called the Odyssey and they sail the course that Odysseus does in the book. I was like, sign me up. I hated the Odyssey at first. I'm willing to give it another try if I'm gonna be able to be in Greece and be able to sail the course that he does in the book. So again, a really cool way to be able to engage with your literature. You're also gonna be able to stop at different ports in Greece to be able to experience the cuisine, people, the religion, all of that fun stuff. Now, study abroad in the more traditional sense is where you spend either a semester or a full academic year overseas. You're at a partnership university, and we have a partnership with over 150 universities and colleges all over the world. So definitely sky's the limit when it comes to being able to get opportunity at a different university. And you can take, whether it be academic courses, like I mentioned, sociology, religion courses, you can take a STEM class, or you can do an elective course as well. Every major is you're gonna have to take an elective coursework, so why not be able to do that overseas? Now, something cool that CC offers is what's called a wild card. Students at CC are given the opportunity to take a free block. I don't mean free as you can do whatever you want for 3.5 weeks. It's free as in CC will cover the tuition portion of that travel abroad experience. There are program fees attached to the study abroad or block abroad opportunities, which means you as a family are going to be responsible to pay the airfare and the food while your student is abroad, but CC will go ahead and cover the tuition and the housing portion of that. So way more affordable to be able to get out and go overseas during your 4 years, even if it's just for a block. CC is going to make that more affordable for you and an option at the end of the day. Research is another great opportunity here at CC, and most students don't start thinking about that until their junior or their senior year, when really you can start getting engaged in that research opportunity from freshman year on. A really great research opportunity here that's specific to CC is going to be what's called the Keller Venture Grant Foundation, where they are going to be sponsoring students to create their own research proposals. So I had a student a couple years ago who's a biochemistry major, and she submitted a proposal to go to Europe and study the chemical compounds found in different foods. What a cool way to spend your spring break of being able to go to Europe, get those costs covered, and be able to study something that could be related to your major, such as biochemistry and studying chemical compounds, or something completely unrelated to your major and something you're just interested in. So again, they do sponsor those students from year to year, so it's a cool opportunity for you to be able to engage in your creative coursework that's outside your major possibly. Alongside research is going to be internships, and the Career Services Center does a great job of being able to match students with alumni, whether it be in the area here in Colorado Springs or Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, or if you want to go back home for the summer and you want to find an alum in the area, so you can be able to do that. We have plenty of options here at CC for you to be able to do that. Not only do they help you with matching alum, but you could also get mock interview help. You can get resume, cover letters, so that you are not only set up for success in being able to find some money in your discipline that you want to be able to study with or do internships with, but also to be able to actually land that internship with interview help and be able to have that great resume and that great cover letter to help showcase the work that you've done here at CC to be able to get that internship later on. And again, just like research, you're able to start those from freshman year on. So again, checking in with Career Services from day one of when you step on CC is really going to set you up for success. The last thing I want to talk about is block breaks. So as the picture would allude to, there's those 4.5-day breaks you get in between each block. And so what do students do during that time? There are a number of different opportunities. As I mentioned, rock climbing out in the Moab if you wanted to. You can head down to New Mexico, go visit some art museums, some music exhibits. They also have a wolf sanctuary in Colorado Springs, which parents, if you're watching, I know if I was like my kid going to play with wolves? I don't think so. No one's been hurt. We've had a partnership with them for 30 years. It's a really cool way to be able to engage with wildlife in the sense that you wouldn't be able to in the actual wild. If you didn't want to play with wolves, there's also trail restoration. So if you want to do some manual labor over your block braid, you can do that as well. There is a trip that personally I like to talk to just because I signed up for it when I first got here at Colorado College. And yes, staff can sign up for those opportunities as well. So you may see a couple of us biking around or rock climbing with you during those trips, which is a cool way to be able to meet different staff if you wanted to be able to get a job on campus later on, or even just be able to network and get recommendation letters in the future as well. So the trip I'm referring to is what's called the CC Aspen bike trip. It happens after every first block where students will bike from Colorado College to Aspen. But when I signed up for the trip, I was naive and thought that you biked in Aspen. So I'm fresh off the plane from, Florida, don't have my altitude legs just yet, but I'm like, I would love to bike in Aspen, right? That sounds amazing. So I signed up and they're asking me these weird questions. They're like, how many miles a week do you bike? What's your average speed? And I'm like, that's weird. I bike like a mile and it takes me like 45 minutes to bike that, but what's the big deal? So I get to the day of the trip and we're all renting out bikes from CC. And so I'm wearing like a hoodie and jeans and everyone else is in athletic wear, and still I'm naive. I have no idea what's going on. So we start hopping on our bikes and I'm thinking we're just testing out the gears. We're making sure the bikes fit well. And so, I get on my bike and I start to follow everyone else. And it's when we got to the highway that I realized, okay, fun. We're biking to Aspen, right? We're not busing to Aspen. So I obviously turned right around. I was like, no, thank you. I'm gonna head back to campus. This is gonna be a no for me. I always get a question of like, did you try the next year, the year after that? Absolutely not. I have no intention to, but over 100 students do it every year. It takes them 2 days to bike up to Aspen because it's, like 200 miles from here and it's over Independence Pass. But they camp on the side of the road. They get to know people outside of their day-to-day classes or even their clubs and organizations, be able to meet people all around campus. They dress up in tiger onesies, and it's a really great opportunity and a long-standing tradition here at CC. So definitely something you should look into, but of course, read the fine print on those block breaks to make sure you're not biking somewhere that you don't want to bike to. Well, folks, that's it for me. Thank you so much for coming to check out part 2 of our 4-part series. Make sure you check out the other series for more information about our college. If you have any other additional questions, you can feel free to reach us at admission@coloradocollege.edu. And thank you so much.